I respect the holistic approach of Ayurveda for sure. Um, but like you said, that everybody has a physiology. Can you give a little bit of information on, like, you have gone deep into the herbology part and you now make essential oils. So Ayurvedic texts talk about doshas, gunas, karma, dravya guna. So every drug, every plant, every herb, every vegetable, legume has a guna, quality, its karma, its way of acting, and its doshas. And the Panchamahabhutas, the subtle elements present in it. And we have it too. We have our gunas, we have our karmas, and we have our inherent qualities. And also, like how they say, it's like food specific for specific physiology. How do you see this nature of these herbs and food items and plants? How plants nature, like especially plants, animals, maybe we can say they are close to us, but like how nature of plants interact with nature of a human being is very like sometimes very mystery to me. So I want to get a little insight on how the two natures, doshas from plants, interact with the gunas and doshas with us.
Yeah, that's a great question. Hold on just one second here. I have to uh, plug the computer in so I don't disappear. Okay, there we go. Well, the way that we can think about it is that the plants have prana, and the prana is circulating the Panchamahabhutas inside the body of the plants. And that prana is connected to celestial pranas. Okay, and the five elements are connected to the celestial five elements. And so what that means is that if we look at the cosmology that's described by Ayurveda, we have the sun and the moon, Agni and Soma, and that is the major influence on the biosphere. And then the major influence of the biosphere is on the plant world. Okay, of course it's on everything, but for this description, we look at the plant world next. Because the way that the life force flows is that it comes primarily as solar Agni, okay, which is the primary kind of celestial prana. And that flows into the biosphere, and that's absorbed by the plants, okay? And so the plants are absorbing Agni through photosynthesis. And they also have their own genetic prana from their lineage. So what a plant then is doing is the same thing that the human body is doing. And the plant is a container, okay? It's a container of space, akash, okay? And in that container, there is earth moving through the plant, the nutrients from the soil. There is water that's moving through the plant, and there is sunlight that is being absorbed into the plant through photosynthesis, and that's becoming Agni in the plant. And it is the main thing that's driving all of the chemical reactions inside the plant. And the plant is also breathing, okay? And generally, it's an opposite pattern of how we are breathing. So we have the same basic model of five elements in the plant body and the human body. The human body is also a container of space, and inside that are moving the nutrients of the earth and the fluids of water, whatever we drink, and it is also full of sunlight, which is the warmth, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, which is combusting sunlight. That the reason that the body is warm is because we are combusting solar Agni in an opposite physiological metabolic reaction to photosynthesis. And so that's the answer right there, is that human beings and plants are made in a mirror image. Okay, and specifically plants came first, and so humans are made in a mirror image of plants. And the reason for that is because we cannot live directly on sunlight, and we cannot live directly on dirt. And so the plants were here for hundreds of millions of years, making the environment the way it is. And they reached a certain stage about 100 million years ago where there was a first flower. And that first flower changed everything, because after that, the plants all started flowering. And from that flowering, there was a huge, huge increase in the oxygen levels of the planet, and a huge increase in biodiversity, and huge increase in the food chain, and increase of soil fertility. Many, many things all go back to the first flower in terms of evolutionary history of the planet. And out of that came higher life. And so humans actually came out of plants. Okay, humans came out gradually over long, long periods of time. Humans came out of other, forms of life. And we are designed anatomically and physiologically to be in a close relationship with plants, because plants created the world. They created the ability for higher life to come out. So therefore, we have a digestive tract that's like a worm, all right? And we eat the food, which is the earth element, and it goes through. And we also have a nervous system that is based on a polarity, and that is the autonomic nervous system, sympathetic stimulation, and parasympathetic relaxation. This is based on the relationship with the sun and the moon. Okay, so in other words, we're in a biorhythm every day, and the biorhythm is solar energy and then relaxation. Okay, so it's daylight, nighttime, waking, sleeping, and this polarity is in every aspect of the human body. There's the inhalation, exhalation, there's taking food in, eliminating it, there's assimilating energy, eliminating waste. There's this polarity. So we're also made in the image of the sun and the moon energetically. And then we're also made in the image of flowers, which is really interesting, because the food chain, the entire food chain, is based on flowers. Okay, all the foods that we eat, even animal products, they're higher up on the food chain, but everything goes back to the flowering plants. And the flowering plants reproduce by attracting pollinators, and what attracts them is signals that there's nectar. Okay, and so everything we eat, ultimately, according to Ayurveda and classical Asian medicine, there's 6 tastes, all right? And there's only one taste that actually gives us nutrition, and that's the sweet flavor. And everything in the food chain, all the grains, they are metabolized into glucose. And all of the legumes and all the fruits and all the vegetables and everything comes from flowering plants, even the animal products that are higher up. Everything comes from flowers in the food chain. And that's how we end up with Ayurveda telling us that everything that builds the body that is nourishing, okay, is sweet. You can't live on salt or salty flavor. You can't live on bitter. You can't live on pungent, etc. You see, so everything goes back to flowers. And so that's another example of our biological relationship with plants. Now, that's the answer to your question. What is this relationship between plants and humans? And how is it that the Panchamahabhutas of the plants work on the Panchamahabhutas of the body? And the answer is that the human body is made in the mirror image of the plants. And so if we if we have a cold condition, and this goes back to real simple Ayurvedic principles, if we have a cold condition, say hypothyroid, okay, what do we need? We need more fire element. Where do we get it? We get it from the foods and the herbs that are hot. And that is the pungent taste, you see. And the pungent taste is that which causes metabolic activity to increase. Or likewise, if we're running too hot, what do we need? We need to cool down. Those are the anti-inflammatory things, or the things that are rich in soma, you say, that have a cooling effect on the body. So really, Ayurveda then is telling us how to use the energies and the elements of nature that are concentrated in the plants in different proportions to balance the energies and elements of the human body. And so a real nice description of what definition of what is herbal medicine. Herbal medicine is using the compounds that the plants produce for themselves for parallel human purposes. So with essential oils, for example, you get, say, a conifer essential oil, spruce, pine, fir, juniper essential oil. Why does the tree produce the essential oil? In the needles, it produces the essential oil to protect itself. It's an immune system. So you distill the leaves, you get an essential oil. That essential oil in the bottle is actually the distilled molecular form of the tree's immune system. And since we have biological parallels with the trees, with the plants, we can take that essential oil, we can inhale it, and it goes into the lungs, and its immune boosting power that the tree was using and its antimicrobial protective power that the tree was using is beneficial for us. And the lungs actually look like an upside down holographic mirror image of a tree, you see, and the connecting element is the air element. So there's all of these ways that we can learn to see the mirror image of the human body in plants. And that's the answer. How plants work is that they're producing these compounds for themselves, but we take it and we use it, and they work in the same way in our body. And so plants that are rich in water element, they increase the water element in the body. And those plants that are rich in water element are concentrating, the soma from the moonlight. Plants that are rich in Agni are stimulant and hot, and they're going to have a stimulant and hot effect in the human body. So that's the basic concept of biological unity. And what's really important about that is the more we understand that broader concept of biological unity, the more it helps us to really appreciate plant medicine. And it becomes actually a spiritual view to understand biological unity at this level. So I hope that's helpful.
That's very helpful. That was actually really detailed. Really detailed answer of understanding the biological unity and how we are an actual mirror images of plants. That was amazing. That's a really great answer. So thank you so much, David, for providing these answers and enlightening us today on Ayurveda. I'm gonna hear this recording again myself because it was so amazing to get such deep insights. Especially your last answer was like super amazing, how we connect to nature in a mirror image way. Like they are our ancestors, and it's amazing that they are healing us. They are actually helping us. Like that's probably why we call it Mother Earth, because that's the nurture capacity that these plants have to heal us. I really wish you so well in your journey with Fluorocopia and with essential oils and in Ayurvedic and herbal Chinese healing. Thank you so much again for being here on our show. Thanks a lot again.
Well, thank you for asking. My pleasure. And thank you for doing the good work that you're doing.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a good encouragement.